Hello traders, today is October 7th, 2024. I'm gonna go over only 9 names today. The reason for that is because I wanna give the market a little bit more time considering the circumstances that we have for this week, and I just wanna analyze some of the stuff or share some of the stuff that I've seen. Anyways, as per usual, this is not financial advice. This content is educational content, and I strongly suggest if you want to risk your money or capital on any type of investments, please do your own due diligence and your own research. That being said, let's start with Apple. And one of the things that I was saying last week, I've been covering Apple quite often lately, was that if we break under this area right here, which is 225, we are probably going to see a decline on, towards 216. So two things happen here. You're right under the 35 SMA, which is this green line right here. You're under the support level that was 225 or is 225, and you are also under this trend line. And let's be a little more precise. If we move it down a little bit so we can count the wicks on these candles, we're still under this level. Now today in general the market was for the most part red, especially in big names, and Nasdaq was not doing too well. And I think it's because of a lot of circumstances, especially the fact that you have tensions in the Middle East. We don't know when or if Israel is going to retaliate against Iran, and the escalation on that war. So the market, as per usual, doesn't like uncertainty. We also have a hurricane, another one, coming towards Florida. So that is going to bring a lot of headaches, I guess, to the East Coast, in addition to what we already have. We also have an election coming within a month or so. We also have CPI coming this week and PPI coming this week as well. So, and then FOMC meetings, minutes, not meetings, minutes. So the market itself is still a little bit hesitant, and we can actually see that. It's pretty evident at this point. So one of the things that I'm planning to do is just take it easy, and I actually have to take it easy because I'm personally I'm buying a business, and I'm taking a lot of it's taking some of my time to especially focus on this right now, and that's gonna be this week and next week. But anyways, that is at least gonna give me time to let the market play itself and then find opportunities. I think with Apple in this situation, considering what we're seeing, going down under support and under this trend line, and also the MACD and the TSI are showing weakness. Volume is not the best. In general, the market today had a pretty little volume, and RSI is also pointing down. A lot of things are indicating, in my opinion, that we're going to continue going down, which is actually a good opportunity. Probably in a couple of weeks to get this name at a lower price if you want to go to the upside. And that is what I'm planning to do. Maybe not on Apple, but there are other names that I'm going to mention later that are going to be a great opportunity. Anyways, I think Apple now is going strongly towards 216, which is this level right here. If we break 216 with momentum, then you can easily go to 207 and even go somewhere close to 197. Why am I saying that? Because there is low liquidity in this area. There is basically no liquidity at 200. But I think worst case scenario to the downside, you're probably going to go down towards the 200 SMA. That would be the worst case scenario. I think that for now we have to focus on 216. If we break that level, then 207 is going to come. At that point, I think that would be great opportunity. This level is kind of stubborn. We might bounce on 207 or we might bounce on 216. These two levels are good opportunity levels. Yet you have to really find for confirmation. If you retest and rebound, that would be fantastic. Or if you actually, which would kind of suck, you end up in range here, just like you were here, then that makes it a little bit difficult to trade. But it also will give you a little bit of opportunity to wait for direction. Now, after this range, we're seeing the direction is going to the downside. So I think we're gonna go to 216. At least this is what I'm seeing right now, and we'll see what happens after that. If we range, we range. If we break, then there's gonna be very serious opportunity once this name comes down, Apple, and then we start going back up again. I think there will be opportunity. I think that things for now are setting up to be a little more bearish and continue going down. But I personally, since I have the time right now, because I'm busy on other things, I'm just gonna wait for the reversal to the upside, which could come in a couple of weeks or in a week, or who knows, or maybe CPI is fantastic and that is gonna alleviate a lot of the concerns that the market has. That could be a thing. But I think for now we are well on our way to 216. Keep this support level in mind. Now your resistance level right now is 225, but 216 I think is more critical right now. Let's move on to AMD, and this sector, let's say AMD, this sector has been basically putting the market on its back. I'm gonna cover NVDA later on. So out of everything that I've seen, you know, the semiconductor sector has been strong enough. Let's actually look. This is about to feel. Let's fix that. It's been, you know, pretty strong. I think towards the end of the day, because I wasn't trading towards the end of the day, it lost a little of momentum. Not in the case of AMD, if you ask me. You went over this resistance level at 169, and you actually were able to maintain this this level right here. On the 5-minute, you're on the 35 SMA. I don't care much about it on that time frame, but if you see it on the 1 minute, you're still well over. Well, right now you're over your resistance level at 169. And I think if the momentum continues, we're going to stay there. But be very careful. The market, again, seems to be a little bit volatile. And there's the reactions that we are seeing are basically going mostly to the downside. What I really liked about this chart was the fact that we went over this trend line and we went over resistance, then we retest, we are coming back up. This is not the best kind of candle you want to see. This is a neutral indecisive candle. MACD and TSI are a little bit high, but it's not too bad. RSI is not overbought. We're over the 200 SMA. We're over resistance, but again, weakness can come at any time. If there is any type of bad news, even the semiconductor sector that has been showing to be pretty strong in the last week or so, or in the last 3 to 4 trading days, we might lose momentum as well on this sector. So just keep an eye on that. Right now, your support level is 169, and you have this another support level. I'm not going to mention your resistance level, but you have another support level at 161. Those two are the numbers that you want to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on the 200 SMA as well. But again, if there's more momentum coming up, you're going to move towards probably 180 or so. But if bad data or bad catalyst or bad news or whatever come around, I think we're going to move to the downside pretty quickly. At least that's a sentiment that you can actually see on the market itself. Let's move on to another name that I was still interested, and that is Amazon. So Amazon, you know, we keep talking about the 181 level. It's this one right here, or 180. We are maintaining that level, so we're still on this support level. We're right under the 35 SMA. We might actually go down towards, and I hate to say this, 177, even 175. And maybe rebound. MACD and TSI are not looking too good, so there might be some problems there for Amazon if we continue going down. We went down today by 3%. Another thing that happened to Amazon today, it got downgraded by I think it was Wells Fargo analyst, which for the most part these analysts are not the best, and for the most part they're wrong. But if you compile that with the news that we have in general right now, and you know, bonds rising after you know, we got an interest cut rate. That's not good in general for the market. You get a downgrade. That's obviously not good for this name. Then you also get news from the Middle East that we don't know what the hell is going on. You also have a hurricane coming right before the holidays and whatnot. I mean, these are not good things for a lot of stocks. Amazon, one of them. 3% for Amazon is a big move. We're back at 180. Now this time, what is different is now we're actually under the 35 SMA. That tells me that we're probably gonna move towards 177 in no time. So that is my fear, and I think that is where we're going. I tend to be bullish on Amazon, but it looks like we are going to hit 177, which is where the 200 SMA is going to be, right in that area. So keep an eye on the 200 SMA, keep an eye on the move to the downside. If you find opportunity shorting this, well, good for you. Anyways, let's move on to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is having the same issue that we had here back in the middle of September, towards the end of September. What was I saying? You have to break the 200 SMA to see a continuation. We did break the 200 SMA, but not, I guess, without enough momentum. And then you went back to 59.7, which is a pretty strong support level. You also have a very strong support level on the 35 SMA, which you can see right here. Today we went over up to almost 64.5, almost to that point. But then you came down again. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart, and that's gonna, yeah, you actually had this nice parabolic move on the 5-minute chart, and then you actually had the same reaction to the downside. Surprise, surprise. It always, I mean, it happens quite often. I shouldn't say always, but it happens often enough to make it predictable. Now you have this inverted hammer. We'll see what we see here. So far, MACD and TSI are not looking bad. The RSI is actually not looking bad. So hopefully we actually get momentum on Bitcoin, and we can actually break the 200 SMA and then continue going towards this resistance level, which is 67.3. If we continue going down, now you have to keep an eye again on 59.7. I think we're on range right now between the 200 SMA and the support level at 59.7. That's what we have right now. But again, the only thing that I can give you for Bitcoin that looks good on the chart is on the MACD, and the TSI don't look bad at all. So just keep an eye on that. We'll see how things evolve for Bitcoin tonight and see what we find out in the morning and during the trading session tomorrow. Now let's keep an eye on, or let's move to, I want to cover, where are you? Let's do Google. And Google had a pretty interesting chart today on the daily, on the 5-minute or the 1 minute. Anyways, it started very strong, but very rapidly within minutes of the opening, you went down almost 2.5%, and you went back to where you started about a week and a half ago. So you're back at 165 again, 164.5. That is which is crazy. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart, and this is what I was telling you. You actually had a strong move. We probably can see it on the 1 minute a little bit better. You had this strong move, and then within 2 minutes or 3, you just went down, and it was just downhill non-stop until closing. There was even not a reaction to the upside after this. That is pretty nuts. I do believe that we are probably going to continue going towards one. Let's wait if we break under the 35 SMA, and then we're probably going to break under the 200 SMA, and your next level is 157. Actually, my next level right now is 157. There's a lot of, and this is the type of opportunities that I'm talking about. That would be a pretty nice price point to get back into Google. But this is going to take a few days, unless something really bad happens in the next few days. But this is going to take some time to get to 157, or maybe we get a rebound on one of these indicators, the 35 SMA or the 200 SMA. We'll see what happens. MACD and TSI don't look very promising. I think that the strength of the stock to the upside is fading, and you can see it on the candle, you can see it on the volume, and under 165, you definitely don't have, or you actually don't have a lot of liquidity. So we could actually see Google back at 157. Interesting. Kind of a bummer, but there's definitely opportunity to the downside. I mean, the more I'm seeing these charts, the more I'm getting convinced, and there's opportunity to the downside still. Let's mention HIMS and put a little bit of a, I guess, good news or a nicer note into what we're seeing in the market. After everything that we have seen, a lot of redness and whatnot, and this is not the first time that happens in the 5 trading days with HIMS, we see HIMS up 10%. This is a very, very nice move, in my opinion. I really like what I'm seeing here. One thing that I don't like are price gaps, and that's why I always mark them. But besides that, I do believe that HIMS still has momentum. At one point, you were up to almost 20 as far as price, which is great. I've been very impressed with HIMS. I like the move. I did call the price target at 18.7, and my next price target is the next level, which is 21.7 or 21.8. It still has a lot of room. Again, I always like to see a little bit of red, but I like this candle for one reason. Most of the market was in bad shape, and HIMS is actually holding very strong, which means that it's still a lot of volume. You had 25, almost 26 million shares. There is a lot of volume coming in, a lot of interest in this name, a lot of good news on this name. And as we know, it has, or it's been announced that it's going to be included on the S&P Small Cap 600 index, which is part of one of the good news that they had last week and part of this move. But I think out of everything that I'm seeing, definitely HIMS is a positive note, especially in this video. But in general, this name still strong. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a little bit of red here and there, but the trend itself is pointing towards 21.8. Very interesting move. I wish, and I said this in my last video when I mentioned HIMS, I wish I did buy calls in this area, because I was really thinking about it, but I was playing on other names, and I was also busy on some personal businesses that I'm conducting, and I just didn't have my head into let's really get into this. But I was driving today and I was thinking about this, about HIMS, and I was like, just like 30 contracts on this thing would have been very, very nice. This move was outstanding. Out of curiosity, I want to see, just so I put myself in a bad mood, in a good way. That is at 20%. So if I had 30 contracts in 3 trading days, it would have been up 30%, give or take. You're not gonna call the whole thing, but all right. Anyways, if you are a HIMS trader or a HIMS, I shouldn't say trader, or a HIMS investor, I think this looks solid. The move, at least on the chart, as you see it, it looks pretty solid. Don't be surprised if you actually feel this gap and then you bounce back up. So my range is still between 17.2 and 21, which is pretty wide. But I think that the strength of the stock, and if you're long term on this, you wouldn't be too worried about it, is definitely pointing towards 21.8. If we hit this level sooner or later, I don't know, we can definitely start talking about, I don't know, I would start talking about probably 25 or maybe even all-time highs at that sort of stuff. But let's get to 21.8 first, and then we can talk about something else. Anyways, another name that I mentioned on, I think I posted a short on this and also a video, but let's see, Microsoft. And let me take a note. What I said was 415 is definitely a very strong support level. And if you break under this, you're also breaking under the 200 SMA, you're breaking under support 415, you're breaking under this trend line, just like Apple did. I think we're gonna hit 400. That's what I think. It's that simple. Liquidity, as you keep going down from this area at our current price, which is 409, is decreasing consistently all the way down to 400. I don't have a position on Microsoft, and that is intentional, because I did think, what if I anticipate anything, and then if you actually see or take a look at the chart in general, it basically tell you the story that this is going to continue going down. Why do I say that? It's because you have the MACD, the TSI, RSI, everything is telling you that it's going down, and the volume of sellers is increasing. So it doesn't make any sense to actually go long, or to think that it's going to rebound on the support level, which is, by the way, a very strong support level, or was, and then think that it's going to go towards 430. My thesis was, or I was telling myself, just wait until actually breaks this, and if it breaks, just wait, and again, I'm probably not gonna trade much in the next week or so, because I'm gonna be traveling, but that actually gives me time to see how this is going to develop. Again, my thesis now tells me that we're probably gonna hit 400, considering that you have low liquidity, and everything else is telling you that things are gonna go down. And even if we break under 400, that would be fantastic, because that gives you the same support level that we had on August 5th. And then you are probably going to have a reaction to the upside again. We'll see what happens. I like Microsoft to the upside, but not now. I want to wait if we get how close we get to 400, or if we actually go under 400, which would be an absolute gift. It does have more room to continue going down. I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to trade this to the downside. The market is too volatile right now to actually be going back and forth between going long or going short. I do believe that it's better to wait until you have a good opportunity to go long on some positions. That is my plan for now. Now let's take a look at NQ, and we are trading in this range, and that is why things are sucking so much. Well, as far as the technical levels, right? We as I mentioned, we have news, and we have a lot of uncertainty in the market. We have data coming up this week, CPI, PPI, and all that. Anyways, as I said before, if we don't break over 20.3, we cannot declare that we're bullish, or the market is getting bullish. If we don't break under 19.7, then we cannot be for sure thinking that we are getting into a bullish territory. Now, if you ask me what I'm looking at, or what I'm seeing right now on the rest of the chart, it seems like we're going towards 19.7, and maybe we bounce on that level, or if we actually continue going down, well, then we're in bearish territory, and then you can actually maybe put some positions that are pointing into or you can buy puts and that sort of stuff. For now, I just want to wait. I think I'm finding very difficult to trade when you're in range in the market in general, and the Nasdaq has been behaving like that for what, 2 trading weeks since the end of September. So I just rather wait and see what kind of dictation we get from NQ. So keep that in mind. 20.3 or 19.7. Those are the numbers that you have to look when you take a look at this NQ chart. ES also is in range, but I don't have it on this list. I actually should. Anyways, let's take a look at NVIDIA, since we were talking about AMD. I just want to mention NVIDIA really quick. It did hit, wait, I forgot to do something really quick. So NVIDIA did hit 130 at one point. Actually went up to a little bit over 130. That was interesting. Let's take a look at the 5-minute so you can have an idea. You went straight up, then you hit 130, went over, and then you came back down. Looks like, again, NVIDIA was very strong. This sector, for the most part, was pretty strong. If you take a look at this line right here on this symmetric triangle, you can see that you went over, retest, and now you're moving back up. We'll see if this sector continues to have strength. And if that is the case, then you have this resistance level at 130, and then you can continue going up. I'm not putting all my eggs on this, or I'm not betting on it. The reason is because the market in general, as I mentioned like 7 times already, is not behaving in the most optimal way. However, again, there was opportunity here. If you were able to read this this market, and you were able to maybe risk a little bit of on this move, probably, and this is Thursday, all the way up. Today you actually went all the way up, as I mentioned. This was very nice, but we'll see if the strength continues or if weakness comes our way. But again, this was one of the best names, I guess, to day trade. Had a very strong start of the day, then you had a cool down, and then you just continue going up. Let's go to the 1 minute just for giggles. And yeah, looks very nice. You had a very nice move right here, and then you had that real move coming. You know, Apple behaves like that sometimes. Anyways, this is looking good, but we'll see if the momentum continues or if weakness comes back into the sector. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Just be very mindful of your trading. Be careful. Don't overtrade. It's not worth it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.